Hello everyone, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Previously, despite all odds, Miles Edgeworth has actually gained ground. He was surrounded by people who knew he was just fail, but despite everything, he placed his trust in Kay and has pushed ahead and has revealed some shocking information. And now the autopsy report has come under question because it's been revealed that it's likely that the head wound of the body was actually what did the killing. And yet the autopsy report says that the head wound was inflicted post-mortem. So now the coroner has appeared to clarify. Yeah, let's go. Did someone suddenly get sick? I'll begin preparing to compress. Stat. Ouch! What did you call me here for? Did something happen? Dr. Yun, Miss Jensen, you have my gratitude for taking the trouble to come here. This won't take long, so please relax. Tell me what in blazes is going on. Oh, what in blazes indeed. Of course. We called you here because something came up. Judge Courtney, just what are you planning? Bonnie Yun, under the divine rule of law, please answer truthfully. There were no mistakes in your autopsy report, correct? Granny would never make a mistake. That's certainly strange. Huh? What's strange? This court has found an error in Dr. Yun's autopsy report. Dr. Yun, please tell the truth. Did you falsify the autopsy report? That's terrible! How can you accuse her of that? I have no idea what you are talking about. Why would I do such a thing in the first place? To protect the true culprit, of course. What you talking about? I would never do such a thing. How strange. In that case, why would there be an error in the autopsy report, I wonder? Prosecutor Edgeworth? What do you think? Oh, I expected you to press into her statement like you normally do. Why is she taking control of the situation and trying to help me? I don't know what her goal is, but I must play along. If the autopsy report you gave to Sebastian had been authentic, then the error should not have been there. Wait a minute, I didn't do anything. You didn't say you did. That is what we will figure out from this point on. Firstly, Dr. Yun, I'd like to hear your testimony. Why do you want her to hear her testimony? It would be pointless. I'm kind of getting weirded out by just how much Karen is so combative here. Karen speaks for Yun. Like, would it be possible to purposefully misinterpret what she says and just make up anything? And get others to believe that Yun said it? But, I mean, I'm pretty dang sure Yun's ears still work, so... wouldn't Yun immediately realize that what Karen's doing, or... I'll be the one who decides whether or not it is pointless, not you. There are patients waiting for us. But Granny, ouch! Anyways, we don't have time for this. Is there any way I could convince you This is of the utmost importance.
Mr. Miles Edgeworth, Granny says she'll testify. So please try to finish this quickly. If we don't return soon, there will be people in terrible suffering.
And yet you were lollygagging about on the viewing platform earlier. I promise you this won't take long. Only if she tells me the truth, of course.
There are no mistakes in Granny's autopsy reports. I've been working with corpses longer than you've been alive. There's no way I'd make a mistake in writing the autopsy report. Ouch! I got nothing to gain from falsifying the autopsy report. It's what she says. See, there's nothing strange at all.
Yes, that's right, you know. There's no way she would falsify it, you see.
Under the name of the Goddess of Law, do you swear that this testimony is the truth? Of course, Granny would never tell a lie.
Objection! We were asking Dr. Yun. We do not need to hear from a third party.
I'm not a third party. I'm on Granny's side. If you raise an objection to my testimony, you'd best prepare yourself, you ex-prosecutor.
I will definitely expose the contradiction in the autopsy report. I think we need to press to get more specific wording. Oh, jeez, I forgot I am injured. Oh.
There are no mistakes in Granny's autopsy reports.
So you're saying there is no way Dr. Yun could have made a mistake?
Of course. Doctors can't afford to make mistakes. This is a world where just one misdiagnosis can end a long career. I know that my Granny, at least, would never. If I did something like that, you think they'd still let me run a hospital? I've been working with corpses longer than you've been alive.
So, in your long career, you've never once made a mistake?
A doctor is only as good as the length of their track record.
If we're just talking about a lengthy track record, that former chief prosecutor has one too. And yet his actual abilities don't seem to measure up. Hope that you're not the same as well. Ouch! That's a low blow, you know. But, you know, Edgeworth, I don't make mistakes either, you see. 'Cause you see, before I can make a mistake, those around me will have already made it instead. You see, I don't have time for mistakes. It's quite amazing, you know. It must be karma.
You can't compare a chief prosecutor with a doctor. You really can't. There's no way I'd make a mistake in writing the autopsy reports. Ouch!
The victim wore this raincoat after suffering a blow to the head. And yet there was not a single drop of blood on the front of the raincoat. Therefore, it is impossible for the head wound to have been post-mortem.
Oh, well that's... Ouch! I don't need you to tell me that. That's what I wrote down from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. The autopsy report says the head wound was post-mortem. That's completely different.
Yeah? I relayed to Karen what to put down in the autopsy report. After that, it was none of my beeswax.
Mm-hmm. Relayed to Karen? Please elaborate on that.
I relayed everything to Karen. After that, it was none of my beeswax.
I would like to verify once again what you saw when you examined the body.
Like we said... Ouch! Oh, well, about that. She was done in by a thump to her noggin. Dr. Yun, do you know when that happened? Before she died, of course. The wounds on her chest were post-mortem. That's what I relayed to Karen, so that's what should have been written in the report.
That's what you relayed to her, eh? I'm finally beginning to see the truth.
I got nothing to gain from falsifying the autopsy reports.
You may have nothing to gain, but how about your granddaughter?
Me? There isn't anything I could gain. If Karen had something to gain, then that girl of yours might have something too. How dare you accuse my little girl who has never done harm to anybody? Yeah, aren't you ashamed of yourself?
She should address those words to Blaze instead of me.
I swear that the autopsy report wasn't falsified. It is what she says, see? There's nothing strange at all.
Did you notice anything strange when you were performing the autopsy?
I wonder. Huh? What is it, Granny? A strange man came by?
Who are you calling strange?
He wore some really strange clothes. He even had a frilly thing around his neck. Even though he was about to get canned, he still tried to run amok during my autopsy. I'm talking about you, you frilly red brute.
Oh, that's a new one.
Oh, I see. So Mr. Edgeworth is a strange frilly red brute.
Kate, please don't only remember odd things about me.
It doesn't look like Granny is lying.
Miss Jensen is the one who is relaying Dr. Yun's words. I'll have to confirm whether or not Miss Jensen is telling us the truth. Yeah. Beeswax. Well, I guess now we do this, right? Oh. Okay. Oh! What the hell? Oh, the game tricked me. The music didn't go away immediately. Oh! Okay. Dr. Yun, please confirm what this autopsy report says with your own eyes.
Oh, I'll read it out for you. Ouch! This autopsy report wasn't written by me.
What? What do you mean?
I don't know. But Granny, I can't say that. Miss Jensen, if you are trying to keep the truth in the dark, then... In place of the Goddess of Law, I shall hear your confession.
Judge Courtney is talking with Dr. Yun in private.
What? Is that true? Understood. I shall convey your words to everyone else, Dr. Yun. I properly relayed the autopsy report orally to that child. It seems my granddaughter must have mucked it up when she was writing it down. Wow! She mimicked her voice perfectly.
There was no need for her to go that far, though. In other words, the contents of the autopsy report had been falsified. By your hand, Miss Jensen.
Oh, I... With that, we've proven that the wound on her head came first, followed by her chest wound. Miss Jensen, why did you falsify the autopsy report?
Hold on a second. She never said she falsified it, you know. She just made a teeny tiny mistake when she wrote it down. Post-mortem and antemortem sound kinda similar, you know. They are complete opposites. That is the very definition of falsification.
Miss Jensen, why would you lie? Kay, ouch! I want you to tell me too. Why would you do something like that? Granny, but
Because you falsified the autopsy report, Kay fell under suspicion. Tell me why you did it.
I can't say. I just can't say it.
Not I don't want to say, but I can't say. You're all a bunch of bullies, you know. Gaining up on this poor girl who loves her grandmother so. She is totally unrelated to this. I think we can forgive her for one tiny mistake. That won't do. Aren't you the one with the most to lose if she testifies? What are you saying? You see, as a former prosecutor, you'll have to speak a little more clearly, you know. Very well. As you wish, I shall answer clearly. Miss Jensen played an essential role in this case. She's an accomplice. Miss Jensen falsified the autopsy report in order to assist the true culprit.
Oh, ouch!
This girl is an accomplice? What's your basis for that claim? It was impossible for a single person to commit this crime in the first place. The crime could not have been committed without at least two people, namely because the victim couldn't have been moved, the number of people wouldn't have matched, the report couldn't have been faked. I mean, duh? If there was no accomplice, the autopsy report could not have been falsified.
Mr. Edgeworth, although that might be true, isn't that a little weak as the basis for there being an accomplice?
Well, I mean, it's true, though. If the victim was also one of the participants, that creates a contradiction in her testimony. And we are led to only one answer. There's no basis that there had been an accomplice, you know. No, there is a basis. The crime could not have been committed without at least two people, namely because I mean, the victim couldn't have been moved. No, you don't need two people for that. You just wait for everyone to leave and do it yourself. So the number of people wouldn't match? If the conductor was the culprit and one of the auction guests was the victim, it would contradict the witness's testimony that there were 11 people after the incident.
Oh, what now? You got a problem with my testimony?
Not at all. Rather, it is because I believe your testimony, that's why the accomplice must exist. So you still won't admit that your reasoning is wrong? Up until now, we had not even considered the possibility of an accomplice. However, if there had been an accomplice, it changes the entire story completely. If the accomplice took the murdered auction guest's place, then the number of people remains 11. Oh, I see now, so that's what you're thinking. But, you know, wouldn't that have been quickly discovered? Miss Jensen and the victim have similar physiques. If she wore the victim's mask, she could have easily taken her place. Miss Jensen, did you switch places with the victim?
I wouldn't.
Who was the conductor? In other words, tell me who was the true culprit.
I can't. I mean, that would also cause trouble for Granny. Ouch! But, Granny, I will accept whatever wrongs you may have done. Just tell me everything. Granny!
Oh my. What the hell? Oh, that's ridiculous. As I thought, it appears you really were the accomplice.
Miss Jensen, why?
Man, this really does recontextualize why Karen was the one to deliver Kay to Edgeworth. Damn.
Miss Jensen, would you please tell us? Yes. It's okay, Granny. I'm fine now.
I'm kind of sad her hair's fixed. She was rocking that look.
I switched places with the victim, Miss Crane.
So you would admit to being the conductor's accomplice?
Yes, I helped out the conductor. I don't really know why, but for some reason, the conductor was expecting to be attacked by Miss Crane.
The conductor expected an attack from the victim.
They were so sure it was going to happen that they came up with a plan to counter it. A way to beat the victim at her own game. That's when I was called in. I was told to wait in the storeroom before the auction began. Whoa there, you ain't fooling my eyes. If you were waiting in the storeroom, I reckon I would have bumped into you. After all, I'd been up in that storeroom the entire auction. I'm telling the truth.
I wonder about that, you know. Can we really believe a girl who would falsify a report? There should have been many places to hide in that storeroom. Then by all means, tell me, where did our little nurse hide? The place in the storeroom where Miss Jensen hid was... Okay, finally this comes up. It's gotta be the costume trunk, right? She hid inside this costume trunk. A costume trunk, eh?
Oh, now that you mention it, that box was already there before I snuck in. I figured I would hide in there myself, but it was wrapped up nice and tight with a chain. And it was locked too, so I had to give it up. I suspect that when you sneaked into the room, Miss Jensen was already inside the trunk. Yes, it would have been bad if one of the guests from the auction had opened the lid. After instructing me to hide inside, the conductor wrapped a chain around the costume trunk. I think they went downstairs using the lift shortly thereafter. It was right before the auction.
So then, the auction began. Only you and Miss Hart were in the storeroom.
Yes, that should be right.
The auction had been going on as usual, but when a certain participant made the winning bid, the conductor committed the crime. Miss Hart must have heard the altercation that occurred then.
You betcha! I was trembling behind that there statue the whole time, though.
Following the altercation, Jill Crane was murdered. After killing Jill Crane, the conductor carried her body to the costume trunk. And Miss Jensen, who had been hiding in the trunk, was made to take Miss Crane's place. The victim's body was placed inside the costume trunk. The conductor then took Miss Jensen, who had been made to look like Jill Crane, and returned to the auction hall as if nothing had happened. Was this roughly what happened in the storeroom during the incident?
Yes, that's right. Pulling the old switcheroo with one of the auction guests? Ain't that impossible? That gal and the murder victim are two completely different people, you know. Don't you reckon one of the other participants would have noticed and caused a ruckus?
No, not at all. The reason they didn't notice the switch was because she stole the victim's clothes. Duh. From what I can tell, Miss Jensen and the victim appear to have a similar physique. Furthermore, there was a rule requiring a mask to be worn during the auction. If their clothes were the same, I doubt anyone would have noticed she was a different person.
Yes, I blended right in. I borrowed Miss Crane's clothes and... Ouch! You mustn't embarrass the dead like that. I know. I also thought it was pretty heartless to leave her exposed like that. So when the conductor wasn't looking, I covered her up in the raincoat that was up for the auction.
So she was the one who put the red raincoat on the victim. And then the auction resumed as if nothing had happened.
I reckon I took the picture of her in the red raincoat after that. That'd make all the facts line up. After I took the photo, I went over to the lift to sneak a peek down below. I witnessed the 11 participants, and then I hightailed it back behind the statue.
Don't tell me you were hiding there the entire time until we found you.
No, that's... how should I put it?
What is it? Did something happen?
I didn't mention it before, but after that I might have dozed off a little. To be more precise, I fainted, well, something like that.
So something did happen?
It ain't no big deal, kinda embarrassing to say though. There was this huge thump sound all of a sudden. I was a little surprised by that. It was right after I had just witnessed a murder, so I was shaking in my boots. My heart sort of tightened up and I was off to La La Land. When I woke up, it was already the next day around the time y'all came by the storeroom.
I see. So there was a large sound. Miss Hart, I take it you do not know what transpired in the storeroom beyond this point.
I guess, but after the auction, all the masks were properly returned. So I reckon their participants had exited through the storeroom, just like I done said.
Miss Jensen, what were your actions after the auction resumed?
I took the victim's place and participated in the auction. The conductor instructed me to win the bid for the costume trunk. Because the body was inside it. It would have been bad if another auction guest won the bid for it.
You didn't realize the box was empty?
No. We only found out when I came up to the storeroom to pay the bill. The conductor was with me and told me to go search for her immediately. And then I found another girl collapsed in front of the ladder.
Kay.
Yes, she probably fell down from the roof and lost consciousness. Maybe the victim left the hatch open when she went up to the rooftop.
I understand now. Kay was surprised at seeing the collapsed victim. It did not notice the open hatch. She must have missed her footing and fell down into the storeroom. Miss Hart, I have determined the sound that made you faint. It was likely the sound of Kay falling into the storeroom floor.
That might have been it, though I reckon it'd be kind of pathetic to faint over something like that.
When Miss Jensen found the unconscious Kay, Miss Hart was also unconscious behind the statue. The situation is becoming clearer to me. Miss Jensen, please continue your story.
After I found Kay and the victim, I put them both in the truck. If the customers at the auction found out, there would have been a huge commotion.
Was this an order from the conductor as well?
Yes, it was. But since I secretly decided to put the raincoat on Miss Crane, I had to dispose of the raincoat without the conductor noticing.
So the conductor didn't anticipate the raincoat becoming another piece of evidence.
And, finally, we dressed Miss Crane in a spare conductor's outfit.
I see. In doing so, you made the victim appear as if she was the conductor.
In the end, the auction ended without anyone noticing anything.
Miss Jensen, your crimes have become clear. If you know anything else, please hold nothing back.
I want to help you more, but that is all I know. If I had to say, there is just one thing that bothers me. When I took Miss Crane's place, I borrowed her clothes. But there was no way for me to borrow her hair. Ouch! What kind of coroner's assistant goes around stealing a corpse's hair?
I would think that robbing the deceased of their clothes would be questionable enough.
Both the color and the length of our hair is different, so I was worried about how to disguise it. However, the conductor even had a wig prepared for me. In fact, he had 2 of them. Inside the costume trunk, there was both a straight wig and a wavy wig.
2 wigs? Why were there 2?
Who knows? Maybe it was a precaution in case the victim had changed her hairstyle. I ended up using the straight wig to match Miss Crane's hair.
Okay. And so the wavy wig, that must be why Kay thought the corpse she saw was herself. Oh. So that means the wavy wig was left unused. Is that really all you know?
Yes. Yep, that's really all I know.
So that means you don't know who the conductor is.
I'm sorry. I only knew that person as the auction conductor. I never saw that person without a mask on. The conductor seemed to be on guard towards everybody.
Ugh. At this rate... Edgeworth, is that all you've got? I mean, that's enough to completely exonerate Kay, so... Even if that little nurse is an accomplice, it changes absolutely nothing, you know. In the end, the true culprit is still Kay Faraday. All you did was add another criminal, you know. The rule of law cannot be overturned, at least not for your sake. Is this as far as I go? Am I unable to save Kay? Hell yeah, about time you showed up. Franziska, why are you here?
Didn't I tell you, Miles Edgeworth? Wherever there is a case, I will follow. Prosecutor Von Karma, your hard work is most appreciated. However, don't get the wrong idea. I only came here to find out the truth behind what happened to Kay Faraday. I don't plan on forgiving you for abandoning the prosecutor's path.
I understand.
You should thank your former subordinate. He gave me some valuable information which may save Kay Faraday.
Detective Gumshoe did...
Listen well, Miles Edgeworth. This will be the final piece of evidence. Jill Crane suffered the wound on her head first. Ba 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 da ba ba. Well, someone say something. Well, I hate to say it, but we already proved that. Already proved? Yes, well, just a few minutes ago. Ag! You should have told me sooner. You're the one who barged in here and started talking. Well then, does that mean you found out what the murder weapon was already? No, not yet. Is that so? In that case, listen well. The victim was struck on the head with a blunt cylindrical object. The wound on her chest was suffered post-mortem. A cylindrical murder weapon? Cylindrical? Cylindrical? Cylinder. What could that be? Huh.
Objection.
Oh, jeez, forgot about that. You know, this report of yours, I trust it's accurate, of course.
These were the results of 2 independent autopsies carried out by 2 respected doctors.
Objection.
That's reassuring, but it's too bad. You have no right to...
Interpol is after the black market auctions, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of the investigation. The victim participated in the auction. Therefore, it is only natural for me to investigate. Especially now that she's been murdered.
I see. Clever girl, little Von Karma.
Then it has been settled. The victim died from blunt force trauma to the head. Huh. Unfortunately, the murder weapon has yet to be found.
Just knowing the shape of the murder weapon gives me an idea as to what it might be. Hey, in my investigation we didn't find any other murder weapons, you know. If you consider the conductor's possessions and the crime scene, the answer should be clear. The blunt cylindrical object used in the auction hall was... Oh. Oh. Well, I mean, when I picture bludgeoned with a cylindrical object, I was like the not the flat end, but the round side of the cylinder. Weird, but yeah, I guess it must be the auction gavel. Oh, that's right. Lotta Hart said that after everything was done and over with, and she looked back down at the continuing auction, she couldn't hear the sound of the gavel. Oh! It was something the conductor had in their hand during the auction. Namely, an auction gavel. An auction gavel? We didn't find anything like that.
If the culprit is the conductor, it is possible that the gavel may be the murder weapon. However, that alone is not reason enough, wouldn't you agree?
Of course, I have no proof to back it up. This piece of evidence proves that the murder weapon is the auction gavel. Lotta's testimony, please. Where is it? Here, please. The sound of the gavel was not heard afterwards. According to Miss Hart's testimony, after the victim had been murdered, it seems she suddenly stopped hearing the sound of the gavel during the auction. However, she had been able to hear it up until then. Why was that, you ask? It was because it had been used as the murder weapon and was covered in the victim's blood. It became necessary to dispose of it, isn't that right? Blaise de Best.
I'll have a search for the murder weapon performed immediately.
Well, good luck with that, you know. You've got to work as hard as you can while you're young, you see.
He's completely confident that we won't find it. Well then, while the search for the murder weapon continues, I hereby call for a brief recess.
To be continued. Nice. Guess we'll press on just a little more. Oh, he got in his chair. Neat.
Order in the court. Prosecutor von Karma, your report, please. I have bad news. We've searched every inch of the Grand Tower, but the auction gavel was nowhere to be found. That is most unfortunate. It seems I am left with no choice but to pronounce a verdict.
Well, it sure seems that way, you know. Normally, you wouldn't commit a blunder like leaving behind a murder weapon, you know. The best criminals could never do something like that, you see. The best, you say? I don't have enough information, so this is as far as I can go. Yes, it's a shame, you know, but it can't be helped, you see. This takes me back, you know, all those defendants who came to me asking for a plea bargain. They trusted me, you know, told me every one of their dirty little secrets, you see. And when it came time for the trial, I'd get them sentenced to life in prison. They were all completely dumbstruck, you know, each and every one of them. Oh, how I wish you all could have seen it, you know. The stupid look on their faces.
I shall hereby announce my verdict. Please humbly accept the words of the law.
There's nothing more I can do. With this, both Kay and I are...
If only we had some evidence. I never thought I would be passing judgment on you like this.
Is this the end?
The defendant, Blaise de Best, I hereby indict you.
Oh yeah. What? Oh, what's gone into you all of a sudden?
I have here documents regarding a certain case. The IS-7 incident, a case that happened 18 years ago.
Documents, you say? Why would you suddenly... Wait, you don't mean... On the day of the crime, the record of your keycard being used was because...
I came to this room to fetch these documents, of course. Although, when I entered the meeting room, it seems it was before the black market auction had begun. At first I told you that I came to gather documents about you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. At that time, I simply could not tell you the truth.
Whoa. What are you doing, Justine? Why are you indicting Pops? Without any basis, this is slander.
That was a wonderful remark, Sebastian.
Huh? Really?
Of course there is a basis. During the case 18 years ago, Prosecutor Manfred von Karma fabricated information regarding the body.
That was because the body of the sculptor, Isaac Dover, had been stolen.
Papa fabricated information about a body? What do you mean? Detective Lacer, who handled the initial investigation, reported that the body had gone missing. However, in order to deceive Prosecutor von Karma, there is a person who purposely did not report to him that the body had disappeared. What?
What did you say?
That person would not forgive those who defied him, nor would he allow others to hold power. He would use any means necessary in order to bend others to his will. And then, also 18 years ago, Director Yun, who was ordered by a certain individual to write a fake autopsy report.
Dr. Yun was the one who wrote the autopsy report for the IS-7 incident?
But please wait, Granny didn't do anything wrong. She was ordered by that person. She had no choice but to obey.
That person?
That person was the chief prosecutor at the time.
The chief prosecutor? 18 years ago? You don't mean...
The chief prosecutor who gave Papa his first penalty. It was none other than you, Blaise the Best.
What are you saying? Pops would never do something like that.
Sebastian, we do not need your opinion right now. Blaise the Best, do you have a rebuttal?
Fabricating stuff about the body? Von Karma did all that on his own, you know. Falsifying the autopsy report? Yun, you would actually do something like that. Man, you really did some terrible things behind my back, you know?
Seeing as how all the parties concerned are here today, we should ask them directly. Please wait, Granny is... Ouch! Granny, I'm sorry. I knew. That's why I... Yup, because if I didn't, he said he would expose you. If I didn't assist in the crime, Granny would be prosecuted. That's what that man, the conductor, told me.
So, Miss Jensen was being threatened. Was the conductor who threatened you Blaise the Best?
That... I don't know. The person who threatened me was the auction conductor.
Well, at least say if their heights are the same. Or their hair, even.
They do have similar physiques, but I never saw the person's face.
Oh, well, there you go. Any trivial thing is fine. Give us a characteristic that could be a clue.
That's right. The conductor's mask, it exposed just a tiny part of his face.
The Zervin mask.
Oh yeah,
Also, I actually looked it up on Wikipedia a few days ago, actually. Onyankopon and Zervin are both deities of a triumvirate of an African religion. Actually, goodness, I think it's called Zervinism, I think. I'm not sure. But, yeah. Africa. Neat.
There was a tattoo there, I'm sure of it.
A tattoo? A tattoo? A tattoo, you say?
Objection.
I really have no idea what you're talking about, you know. As you can see, there are clearly no tattoos on my face, you see. So that person doesn't match me at all, you know. The person who threatened her, this so-called conductor, I wonder who it is, you know.
You have incurred the wrath of the goddess of law. I suggest you watch what you say.
Hasn't he incurred your own wrath rather than the wrath of the goddess?
Jill Crane had been pursuing you, just as I have. And I will not let her death be in vain.
Crane was, you know, you say she was pursuing me? My, I didn't really know her that well, you know? I don't mind girls chasing after me, you know, but I don't recall her ever falling for me, you see.
You didn't know the victim well. That is a testimony we haven't heard up until now. Before the eyes of the goddess of law, you shall give us an official testimony.
I see. Everyone is bullying me. If you're gonna go that far, that's fine, you see. I'll just have to make you disappear. Every last one of you.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, I shall cooperate with you as well. If we let this opportunity slip by, I doubt we will ever get him to stand in court again. Please, do not let this chance go to waste.
Yes. I promise I will live up to your expectations.
Now then, Blaise de Best, you shall testify regarding the victim.
Wow. Is this really it? Wow, I thought for sure there would be like one more investigation phase, but I guess this case is just that short, huh? I think this is it, the ultimate final testimony. Wow. The victim, Jill Crane, was a member of the Prosecutorial Investigation Committee, you see. Personally, I didn't really know her that well, you know. Either way, it's not like I had a motive to murder her, you know. I have no idea why she was pursuing me, you see. You intend to deny your guilt until the bitter end, don't you?
Of course he does. There's no way Pops could be the criminal. I mean, he's my Pops, you know. He's the very best, like no one ever was.
Son of a... You know, my headcanon voice for Sebastian, it's James from Pokemon, the Pokemon anime, the 4Kids dub. The very best, like no one ever was. God, what a banner. Though I am actually more fond of the second 4Kids dub opening, the Johto one, the whole new world and all that. Yeah, that one's my favorite. Yes, Sebastian. If you're gonna stick up for me, be sure to have a clear basis, you know.
All right, I got it. I'll clear you of these false accusations, Pops. I believe in you, Pops. We won't lose to someone like Mr. Edgeworth.
Yes, you really are pure, you know.
That person, he really loves his father, doesn't he? However, one must be able to accept the mistakes of their father.
Oh, she would say that, yeah.
No matter how much they may look up to him.
Each person must atone for their crimes, no matter who they are. This is going to be hard for Sebastian, but I simply cannot overlook his father's crimes. Man, imagine being the other members of the PIC sitting in those chairs. This is some popcorn-worthy material, man. Well, okay, we're at the 55-minute mark. How much is left? 30 minutes? 40? It's going to be a bit of a back and forth. There's going to be at least 2, maybe 3 whole cross-examinations here. And then there's going to be a big, huge ending for the case. Yeah, there's a lot left. Maybe... Yeah, I think I'm going to stop here, and the next video, it might end up short. And then the next video after the next one, that will be the start of the 5th case, because I don't think this is the ending. After all, we haven't seen hide nor hair of Penny Nichols or the Ladybug Kid. Or Cow Child, rather. Yeah, the red Cow Child, that's right. They have horns and they're obsessed with milk. Well, okay, I say they're obsessed with milk, but it was just one line, but come on. It's Ace Attorney. These characters are wacky. They're obsessed with milk. Milk is their thing. So, yeah. Cow Child. They showed up in Act 3, in Case 3, and in Case 4 here. We're building up to the Cow Child, but what in the sweet hell is it even gonna be? And like, there's still the matter of the smuggling ring plot. I mean, it could be the case that this right here, this auction, is like the helm of the operation, but no. This feels like it's just about police evidence and little more. I feel like it's certainly part of it, but the international smuggling ring, and for that matter, the forces that have it out for Zhen Fa. Like, next case has got to bring back in Shilon Lane, right? Right? Gods, I just have no idea what is waiting in store, but I do look forward to finding out. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Thank you for watching, and hopefully catch you next time. So until then, please take care.